Näyttäisi varpaillakin, mutta tuo ei kyllä.
Welcome to the Grand Prix Espoo in Finland, the sixth and final stop on the Grand Prix series, as we head to see which of the final places at the Grand Prix final will be taken. We start the event with the pairs short programme, and one spot remains in Torino at the Grand Prix final next month. And there are 5 teams mathematically in with a chance of qualifying for that spot, but the favourites likely to be Italians Ghilardi and Ambrosini, Metalkina and Parkman, who will be the last 2 teams competing in the short programme. Welcome to the Espoo Metro Arena in Finland for the 6th and the final stop on the International Skating Union's Grand Prix of Figure Skating. We have an action-packed day as we look to see which of the final spots at the Grand Prix final will be taken. And we start proceedings with the pairs short program in this 7,000-seater arena. This amazing venue has already hosted one of the Challenger Series competitions on the International Skating Union circuit this season, and it will be the host site for the European Championships early in 2023 as well. Fantastic venue to host some incredible skating as we look ahead to the pairs short program. We saw some fantastic skating at the NHK Trophy last week in Japan, where more of the spots for the Grand Prix final were secured, with Miura and Kihara winning, as we see some scenes from Espoo. A city with 300,000 residents, the second most populated city in Finland. As mentioned, a host to some great skating already. Host venue for the 2023 European Championships. The venue was opened in 1999, primarily used for hockey, but home to figure skating this weekend. And as the judges and officials are introduced to the audience in the arena, the skaters will be standing ringside in the nervous moments before they take to the ice. 8 teams compete in the pair short program, split into 2 groups. With the favourites, Ghilardi and Ambrosini, the last couple to skate, will be vying for one of those coveted spots at the Grand Prix final next month, likely against Metalkina and Parkman from Georgia, who are also in with the strongest chance of qualifying that last spot. Points awarded on the Grand Prix: 15 points for a win, 13 points for a silver medal, and 11 for bronze. And currently it's Camille Kovalev and Pavel Kovalev from France who are lying in 6th place on the Grand Prix standings with 20 points. It will be that is the magic number for Metalkina and Parkman and Ghilardi Ambrosini to try to top if they are to qualify for the final in Torino. And here the judges and the technical panel. We've seen representation from so many different nations on the officials panel. All of the judges and the technical specialists and technical controller will have undergone even more education this season. This is the beginning of a new Olympic cycle, and consequently some changes in the criteria for the skaters to adhere to, and the judges will follow that closely when they come to giving their program component scores, the grades of execution, and for the technical panel, the levels assigned to the elements. 7 elements for the pair skaters in the short program to come. And as ever in the pairs discipline, often the side-by-side jumping pass and the throw jump will be a big indicator of success in the standings when the short program is complete. As we see this first group, 8 skaters, 4 teams, getting ready to compete. And the first team to take to the ice, the Swedish siblings, a late assignment to the Grand Prix Espoo in Finland. Greta Crawford and John Crawford. And the second team, in with a shout of a medal, Elisa Efimova and Ruben Blomart. The American team, Anastasia Smirnova and Danilo Ciancia. And the final team to compete in this first warm-up group, Nika Asipova and Dimitri Epstein from the Netherlands. You saw Riku Miura and Reichi Kihara winning at the NHK Trophy last week. That's their second win on the Grand Prix Series, accumulating 30 points. They qualify in first place based on their scores, alongside Alexa Knierim and Brandon Frazier from the States, who also won 2 of their Grand Prix assignments. Not the same heavy favourite at the Grand Prix Espoo. That only serves to make it a more exciting event as we see who will take the title. Fascinating story for the first team who will compete. Greta Crawford, she and her twin brother John compete following a horrendous knee injury that Greta suffered. She broke her kneecap in half and she has had to learn to walk again, never mind attempt the incredibly physical and demanding feats of the pairs discipline. A young woman with incredible bravery and resilience to get back to the competition world. They competed at Skate America just after returning to the ice. The German team of Elisa Efimova. Elisa actually born in Finland. And unfortunately they had to withdraw from Skate Canada due to injury and illness. They definitely have a quality of movement, not been together long. Ruben, a particularly experienced competitor. He already an Olympian. His former partner, Annika Hawk. Definitely think they could be ones to watch. No chance of a Grand Prix final for the Germans, having had to withdraw from their previous Grand Prix assignment. Nor is that something that will be on the cards for Anastasia and Danilo. The American team, they'll be eager though to break into consideration at the beginning of this new Olympic year, new Olympic cycle. I'm sure they will have been inspired by Alexa Knierim and Brandon Frazier, the American team, and the world champions who broke that long, long gap, 40 years since America won the world pairs title. Hang on there to the throw, triple salto for Anastasia. As we look now to the final team in the group, Nika Asipova and Dimitri Epstein. Pig split twist. A team that has competed already multiple times in 2022, and they scored the minimum technical element score for the World Championships at the Lombardia Trophy earlier in the season in Bergamo. And indeed we'll see 2 teams from the Netherlands competing, as we see there Aliona Savchenko, the 2018 Olympic pair champion. The skaters just applying some firm grip for these incredibly physical feats. in the short program. Just a pop on the intended triple toe for Efimova. And all of the teams, and indeed all of the skaters today, will have had opportunity to practice earlier in the day. The pair skaters given the earliest start time on this 6th stage of the Grand Prix. The schedule has been different for the different events. The pairs given the earliest call-up time. Indeed, Finland had success in the pairs at the World Championships very early in the 20th century. They haven't had representation in the pairs discipline. Indeed, Finland most successful in synchronized skating, with the reigning bronze and silver medalists at the World Synchro Championships. Some incredible synchro teams from the host nation at Grand Prix Espoo. And we'll see 3 Finnish women competing in the women's short program, which follows this pair's short. Skaters now leaving the ice. For Greta Crafoord and John Crafoord, the twins from Sweden, born in Gothenburg. And as I mentioned, a late assignment here. And if you haven't seen it, you should check out Greta's social media page to see what she has undergone. The knee injury where she broke her kneecap in half. Just unbelievable what she has done to return it to the ice, learning to walk again, never mind skate, and now here competing in their 2nd Grand Prix assignment.
Try your best, but you don't succeed. When you get what you want, but not what you need. When you feel so tired, but you can't sleep. Stuck in reverse. And the tears come streaming down.
Double twist to start. John just opening up and bailing on the side-by-side double axels. Greta sticks the landing of the throw triple loop. And the 21-year-old twins, Greta Crawford and John Crawford from Sweden. Although not perfect, their short program here at the Espoo Metro Arena just was quite gobsmacking to think what they have accomplished in being able to compete this season. Greta broke her kneecap in half, and what she has undergone to be back on the competition scene, just amazing. And whilst we have to praise and respect and congratulate her in getting physically fit enough to compete again at this stage, also huge respect to John for supporting her through that. You have to suspect that perhaps a brother and sister team is what is needed to cement the support required to come back from such a horrendous injury. You can just see John frustrated, I'm sure, with the double axel that he struggled with here. Lovely clean catch. And this, the side-by-side double axels. If you see John just bailing open, you can see the reaction to that etched across his face. This was good though, the throw triple loop. She worked very hard to secure that. We did triple Salchow throw in Norwood, Massachusetts at the first Grand Prix assignment, increasing the difficulty here with the throw loop. And this lift coming in at a level 3. Various different features analyzed by the tech panel. We have to acknowledge Alyona Savchenko, the 2018 Olympic champion, multiple-time world champion, and she now, as a coach on the other side of the barrier, I'm sure will be desperately eager to prove her success as coach, not just as skater, and so that'll be something that Greta and John will, I'm sure, benefit from. And how inspiring it must be for them to have that level of experience accessible in day-to-day training. And I'm sure their improvement's likely to be exponential. The time that they've had off due to the injury undoubtedly preventing them from training through the off-season as readily as they would have liked. Withdrew from the Warsaw Cup last week, given the late inclusion here in the Grand Prix, just to prepare themselves. A little nod of the head from John at the score of 45.79. And now to the second team competing, 23-year-old Elisa Efimova and 30-year-old Ruben Blomart. As I mentioned in warm-up, Elisa born in Finland. And the team represents Germany. They had success on the Challenger Series. They had 2 silver medals, one at the Nebelhorn Trophy in Oberstdorf and at the Finlandia Trophy in this very venue. Transition out of the opening split twist. Gorgeous throw triple loop. They didn't have that when they competed in Skate Canada. Better than warm-up. Struggling with the side-by-side triple toes. Struggling a little with the cluster of difficult turns and hold as part of the step sequence. Well, that a much better short program for Efimova and Blamar from Germany. And what happened in Mississauga at Skate Canada, we know that they had to withdraw after their short program at the Canadian Grand Prix. So I have to assume that they were struggling there with the injury when they competed in the short program before that withdrawal. Here in Espoo, no doubt the very evident quality of the team, and they, I think, have a distinct and real potential to be medal contenders. Indeed, potentially, they could vie for the title at this 6th and final Grand Prix stop on the 2022 season. Elisa fell on the throw triple loop in Skate Canada, and they didn't have any back inside death spiral called at that event. But the first three elements you may have noticed on the top left-hand corner of your screen coming in with a massive grade of execution. Here, 3 levels assigned to the split triple twist. The women's split position, the man catching the woman at the side of the waist without using her upper part of her body. This, the throw triple loop, gorgeous turn out of the free leg and extension, and that element secured an extra mark and a half on the grade of execution just due to the quality that the judges had to recognize. The back inside death spiral coming at level 3. This was problematic for Elisa in warm-up, and you can see not an optimal rotational position. That's why her triple toe not fully rotated. And you may have just picked up on the sound, the clear call from Elisa for each of the changes of position within the combination spin. Here, the outside edge and the camel. And Elisa and Ruben together for 2 years now. And post-Olympic season, there really is an opportunity for relatively new teams to step up higher in the world rankings. And although Ruben has had lots of experience, they potentially could go to the European Championships in this venue as medal contenders, as they're joined by their coach Florian Jost. 62.46 for the German team. Another team who have competed here at the Espoo Arena already when they took part in the Finlandia Trophy. Anastasia Smirnova and Danilo Sianitseva. Both skaters born in the Ukraine, here representing the United States of America. Lots of speed into the side-by-side triple salchows. Always fascinating to see the initial reaction from the skaters. A shrug of somewhat satisfaction from Danilo. More of a smile from Anastasia. I think an impressive team with huge potential. The speed and ice coverage into the very first element maintained throughout the program. Demonstrating good quality of skating skills and technical content, which was respectable in this field, given what we've seen on the Grand Prix series this year. Split twist coming in at level 4. An impressive accolade. And they had to withdraw from Skate America at late notice. They withdrew from the American Championships due to COVID earlier this year. It's great to see them on the Senior Grand Prix. This is their first Senior Grand Prix assignment. We're fourth at the Junior World Championships. Here, the triple salchows, just a hand down. But unlike the Germans, fully rotated, so a higher base value for the side-by-side triples. As I mentioned, level 4 for the split twist. Another little hand down on the throw triple Sako, so the grade of execution not as good as Efimova and Blomart for the throw jump. No doubt the quality, and I was impressed by Danilo's range of movement. Obviously a very strong athlete, but managing to amass that level of strength without losing a range of movement, as you can see in the difficult entry into the back inside death spiral. Treading the line of maintaining flexibility whilst amassing strength, not easy, and that will be testament to the vast amounts of off-ice training I'm sure that they will do. So, a very respectable debut on the Senior Grand Prix for the 2021 American Junior Champions. Last night I saw that they celebrated Thanksgiving with other members of the American team here at the Grand Prix Espoo. They had a 54.5 at Finlandia Trophy here, and they've added 8.5 points with their performance today. 63.01 for the American team. Sianitsia and Smirnova, and they move into the lead at this stage. The watchful eye of Alyona Savchenko looks on at the final team competing in this first warm-up group. Nika Asipova and Dimitri Epstein, the first of 2 teams representing the Netherlands. And they will need a fairly seismic personal best if they are to lead.
Wait from your sleep, dry your tears today. We escape, we escape.
Landing. That will incur the negative GOE as they head into side-by-side triples. Unfortunately, a fall on the triple toe for Nika. Lovely transition out of the Group 5 lift. Good unison through the side-by-side combination spins, and another difficult transition out of that element to finish the program. Impressive to see choices of choreography, not of the simplest variety, a relatively new team, and choosing to do transitional content that challenges and pushes them. And really interesting that we have two teams representing the Netherlands here at this Grand Prix. Last year, the first Dutch pair at the World Championships, Danilova and Shiba, who will compete in the next group. So it's exciting to see where this will go, and we've seen the Netherlands represented well increasingly on the Junior Grand Prix series this year and the women's competition as well. So exciting times for a developing skating nation, or a resurging skating nation, I should say. And lovely to see that smile on Nika's face. You can see clearly committed to the 2-foot landing on the throw triple flip. But downgraded on the triple toe. Not the finesse or cleanliness on the fundamental skating skills than we've seen from two of the other teams at least already. But that, I have every confidence, will be worked and honed by the coaching staff. And I think increasingly we're learning to appreciate the merits that go into creating a senior pair team, or any pair team indeed. It's a sense of regeneration and the pair's discipline at the beginning of this new Olympic cycle. And Nika and Dimitri eager to take part in that. Love that final transition to conclude their short program. .97 for Arcipova and Epstein. And that concludes the first warm-up group. As we look ahead to more of the favorites in the pair short program. The 8 skaters will be introduced to the arena. As you see the second team representing the Netherlands, who competed last week in Japan. We've seen it. Lots of Italian teams on the Grand Prix. As we look to the Georgian team, Metalkina and Parkman, eager for that final spot at the Grand Prix final, but they will compete against the second Italian team, Gilardi and Ambrosini. So a 6-minute warm-up for the skaters, with Danilova and Shiba from the Netherlands being the opening team in the second group in the pair short program at the Grand Prix Espoo. Daria and Mikhail competed in Sapporo at the NHK Trophy last week. Came 6th at that competition. I saw online they had an extra day in Sapporo before returning bound to be challenged by the different time zones and the come down from competition. So challenging to manage the energy levels between events. I'm hoping to be able to channel all of the motivation from competing in front of that knowledgeable crowd in Japan last week to produce personal best in their short program here. Their current personal best comes from this arena when they competed at the Finlandia Trophy en route to a 6th place in the Challenger Series here. Hale just landing that triple sacco. As we look now to Anna Valesi and Manuel Piazza, an Italian team who paired up last summer. Been incredibly busy competitively this season. 6 competitions already, amassing lots of experience. And they have such a wealth of experience in their coaching staff and coaching team and choreographers. And interesting, Manuel was born in Ortisei, the same town as the great Italian skater Carolina Kostner, and indeed they are related to one another. As we look to Metalkina and Parkman, they were just off the podium at the MK John Wilson Trophy in Sheffield 2 weeks ago. And looking solid and comfortable with the side-by-side triple saccos for Anastasia and Daniil. They were the first Georgians to compete in the World Championships in the pairs discipline. And one of 2 strong Georgian teams on the senior circuit. Rebecca Gilardi and Filippo Ambrosini. They another team that have competed in back-to-back events, having competed at the Warsaw Cup just last weekend. They were 2nd at that competition. And they come into the Grand Prix Espoo with 9 points from their first Grand Prix assignment when they competed at the Grand Prix de France, just off the podium there. And looking like they're electing to return to side-by-side triple saccos. I believe they used side-by-side double axles in Poland at the Warsaw Cup on the Challenger Series. Looking to increase the technical element score in an attempt to secure that final spot at the Grand Prix final. Metalkina and Parkman looking very comfortable and very strong in the warm-up here. As we head into the final minute of the warm-up. You can see scenes of what is an incredible arena, perfect venue for the European Championships. And those are the events to look forward to. The ISU Championship events, which take place at the beginning of the year. Europeans will be held in the Espoo Arena between the 23rd and 29th of January 2023. Many of the teams competing here at the Grand Prix Espoo will be eager to participate there, representing their nation. And then Four Continents Championships will take place the following month in Colorado Springs at the World Arena. And Avalesi managing to fit in a triple salto before the end of the warm-up. A nod of approval from coach Andre Otterek. I believe that's coach Fedor Klimov, former Russian pair skater, responsible for the first team competing in the second warm-up group. Daria Danilova and Michael Shiba from the Netherlands. And they skate to the music, The Hunger Games, for their short program.
Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. You know I see. You'll find you acting on your best behavior. Turn your back on Mother Nature. Everybody wants to.
Fall from Michael on the side-by-side triple salto.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
Impressive save on the landing for Daria of the throw triple flip.
Strange things have happened here, the stranger would be. We met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree? Tell me caught up for your birthday. Strange things have happened here, the stranger would be. We met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you
Daria Danilova and Michael Shiba from the Netherlands. And smiles from both skaters. I'm sure they will be challenged physically and mentally coming into the Grand Prix here. In back-to-back events following the NHK Trophy in Sapporo, Japan last weekend. Originally assigned to compete at Skate America, the first Grand Prix of the series, but Daria didn't receive her visa in time. And that, I'm sure, the reason between them or for them competing in back-to-back competitions. But great to see the smiles. I'm sure Michael will be suitably frustrated with the fall that he suffered on the side-by-side triple salto. Obviously a good connection between the team. A couple off the ice as well as on the ice. And I thought lots of good transitional content, a really obvious approach to the composition of the program. Not just a combination of different elements pieced together. There was intent behind the program construction, and that will be rewarded, I'm sure, by the judges in the first of the 3 components. Here we see the side-by-side triple salchows, and actually a little under-rotated as well for Shiba. So lower base value on the element. Throw triple flip was good. You can see the consideration of a hand to touch the ice. Daria electing not to and securing a better grade of execution as a result.
Are you coming to the tree? I strung up a man. They say
As I say, the first Dutch team to compete at the World Championships. They finished in 9th place in Montpellier, and that's securing representation for 2 Dutch teams at next year's World Championships in Saitama. And great to see that that will in turn create more competition for Dutch players. And given the relative lack of numbers of teams competing this year, exciting to know there'll be domestic competition to encourage more and more participation. Just lacking in the unison towards the end of the combo spin. Fedor Klimov, the Olympic silver medalist back in 2014. Stolbova is coaching the team now. 56.41. And they move ahead of their compatriots into 3rd place. To a team that have been training together for just a little over 1 year, the Italians Anna Valesi and Manuel Piazza. Shame just to fall on the landing of the split twist. Mentally, that's really difficult to recover from as they head into the triple salchows. Oh, well done. Ball that time on the throw triple flip. Well, I think the smile at the end of the performance is particularly impressive. To have that fall on the first element, on the landing of the split triple twist, must have been so challenging to recover from. A real testament to their sportsmanship in smiling towards the end of that performance. And this team of Ana Valesi and Manuel Piazza, part of a wave of Italian pair skaters. So much representation, good quality representation from Italian teams, and really developing as one of the strongest skating nations in the pairs discipline this year. This not the skate that they would have been hoping for, of course. They were 5th at Skate America, and we'll just get the chance to see. Oh, yeah, just a little over-rotated on the landing with the body. And they did well to stick the landing. I think a little under-rotated on the side-by-side triple salchows. Had a fall on the flip in their first Grand Prix assignment. The same fate took place for them here. But their coach, Andre, said that it's a dream for them to participate in the Grand Prix. As I mentioned, they haven't been together long. So to have this kind of experience will fast forward their improvement rate, I am sure. And their coach, Andre, saying that he wants a good atmosphere and a good experience for them. And there seems to be a very positive, holistic approach to the training in Bergamo, where they train with Andre and Franca and the coaches there. Coaches at that rink, supportive of their athletes and of skating and developing nations as well. And showing incredible maturity in reacting to a disappointing score. But you can see Andre suggesting they know what's necessary for success. That's just a stepping stone towards greater things. Anastasia Metelkina and Danielle Parkman from Georgia, just off the podium in their first Grand Prix assignment in Sheffield. They looked impressively strong in the warm-up here. Masses of elevation on the split twist. Stepping out of the throw triple flip. fraction early on the music, just missing the dynamism of the finished position for Metalkina and Parkman. They really do have a confident expression and projection, particularly from Daniil, I feel. Interesting to see the judges' reaction to the presentation component score, the second of the 3 components the judges reward. The criteria calls for expressiveness and projection. Not evident. I thought perhaps that the skating skills diminished a little laterally in the step sequence. The ice coverage and flow lessened when the difficult turns were included, but the level was given at level 3, which is a respectable level assigned to that element of the 7. Program started well. Daniil did well to cling on to the landing of the Salco. You can see heavy on the toe pick, not optimal, and this is a shame. Just skidding on the landing on the right back outside edge of the throw triple flip, so the judges forced to go down the grade of execution. They should lose a point or so. But they posted a score of 58.7 in their first Grand Prix assignment this year in the short program. Should be above that here. And as I mentioned, they're the first Georgian team to compete at the World Championships in pairs. They competed at the 2021 Worlds in Stockholm, but injury and illness derailed them from the ISU Championships events earlier this year. And now they're in a battle against Safina Bereleva, another strong Georgian team who we've seen on the Grand Prix this year. So a new personal best, just above their highest from the Nebelhorn Trophy. Sorry, that's season's best this year for Metalkina and Parkman, above the Nebelhorn Trophy score that they posted earlier this year. And they slot into second place with 62.59. And now to the final team in the pair short program. The team who finished second at the Italian Championships, Rebecca Gilardi and Filippo Ambrosini. They desperately keen to take the final spot at the Grand Prix final next month in their home nation. Not the best grade of execution, but they get through the side-by-side double axels. triple lutz. Well, this team is hugely entertaining. The exhibition gala performances showcase that as well. And they appeared full of pressure as they took to their starting position for their short program here. The chance to compete in the Grand Prix final, such a prestigious event, would be a huge coup for Gilardi and Ambrosini. And they've certainly offered their very best here. Interesting that when they competed at the Warsaw Cup just last weekend, they elected to do the easier double axels. In warm-up here, it looked like they were warming up and prepping for the more difficult triple salchos, but electing in the program to do the double axels again. Just to give context, double axel worth 3.3 points, triple salcho 4.3, but not worth the gamble or the risk. I think it's paid off. And the strength of their presentation, the composition of the program, I'm sure easily the best of those that we've seen so far. And their fourth place at the Grand Prix de France in Angers secured them 9 points in the standings. They're currently 14th in the standings on the Grand Prix currently. And there's just one spot remaining that was so crucial that Rebecca stuck the landing of the lutz as Franca and Andre, you could hear them shouting to Rebecca to make sure there was no step out as Metalkina and Parkman suffered for. And it is Metalkina and Parkman who are their stiffest competition for that 6th spot at the Grand Prix final. Camille Kovalev and Pavel Kovalev from France find themselves currently in 6th place with 20 points. Great scenes. Yeah. And the coaches living and breathing. And again, further confirmation of the positive, good energy coming from that training camp in Bergamo. And Andre Autrec looks satisfied with a score of 67.31 and over a 4-point lead ahead of the young American team, Smirnova and Sianitsia. Job well done for the first part of their competition for Gilardi and Ambrosini, the Italians. And they're the final standings after the short program with Italians top and bottom of the 8 teams who have competed. And close competition between 2nd and 4th. And it will be the Germans, Efimova and Blamar, who round out the first 4 teams. They will be the final 4 teams to compete in the free skate tomorrow. Now, scenes of those that will look after the ice. The ice quality has been impeccable on the Grand Prix in all 6 locations, ensuring that the ice surface of the very best standard for the skaters. That's something that is so important to the athletes. And this a great further opportunity for the host federation and venue to prepare for the ISU Championship event taking place here in January for the Europeans. Shortly we will get to see a recap of the top 3 teams after the pair short program. And here, Metalkina and Parkman, the Georgian team, find themselves in 3rd place after the short with a score of 62.59, less than half a point behind the team currently in 2nd place. And their component scores the 2nd highest. But Smirnova and Cianizia keeping them at bay. The former American junior champions skated earlier on in the competition and justify a 2nd place after the short program. And there a chance to check back in with an amazing display of flexibility and strength from Danilo. And although they don't have aspirations of the Grand Prix final, they'll be eager to push ever higher as we see the leaders after the short program, Rebecca Gilardi and Filippo Ambrosini, electing to do side-by-side double axels. And a wise tactic as they look to day 2 of the competition with a comfortable 4.3 point lead over the others. And they could be vying to be 2 teams competing for Italy at the Grand Prix final in Italy next month. So we can look ahead to see some scenes from the opening ceremony, and then we return with the women's short program.